The first class we have up is Dragonknight. Your basic melee block knight is still very powerful and I really enjoy it. Having played magic, stamina, and tanking, I still think Dragonknight makes the overall best tank in the game. Magic Dragoknights in the future will really have to rely on the Scorching Mage set, which is one of the newer sets, high crit and big time spell damage. I don't have this yet, but I cannot wait to bring back Laceration with this build. So yes, Magic Dragoknights are still powerhouses. Still need to farm that gear. The problem with Magic as I see it in this update is you need a lot of sustain, which Dragoknights do with Battle Roar, but the AoE damage you really have to be close in, using Impulse or Fiery Breath or whatever you're going to use. Or Engulfing Flame Morph. The problem about that is you're going to take a lot of damage if you're not careful. Now that you can't block cast infinitely, you're going to have to either mitigate that somehow, play very smartly, or just change up your skills. Stamina, I think, has got a really strong buff. Basically, everything the Dragonknight lacks inherently, you can find via stamina. A gap closer, a really big burst ability with Wrecking Blow, and it's probably the #1 PvP set slash class from what I hear in Update 7. So, truly, I like the stamina side, and I've switched my tank over to stamina, and I really enjoy it. It allows me to get massive AoE with Steel Tornadoes, or even using Bombard with the bow. So overall, DK is still great, though it's not my favorite class anymore. The reason being I don't like the lack of range without the weapons, or a class-specific gap closer, and especially without a class-specific finisher. The Igneous Shield nerf, the block stamina regeneration makes a Dragonknight okay, but it's just not my favorite class anymore. But if you like Dragoknights, you're still going to love it in Update 7. The second class we have to talk about is the Nightblade, and what I still think is probably the best damage in the game Elder Scrolls Online Update 7. So Magic Nightblade seem significantly boost. I tested it out on the PTS, especially against other players, and I was not happy with the damage. Yet when I get on live, I have an awesome build with the Umbra that's pulling a lot more damage than I suspected. There's also a really interesting set that I have yet to get, but it's called Spell Power Cure. Essentially, if you heal someone at 100%, you get a lot of spell power. This is going to work amazing with a Sap Essence Funnel Health Magic Nightblade. And in fact, when I beat Wide Gold Tower on Veteran Mode, I had a Magic Nightblade in my group that was doing so much off heal, it made my healing job 1,000 times easier. Basically, I think Magic Nightblade is in a much better place than before. Stamina Nightblade, still very good. It may be the utter top damage once everything shakes out, but I'm struggling to do a lot of damage on my bow with the poison change scaling off of weapon damage. I used to be the Thaumaturge would pump this up significantly, but I just can't get the same damage that I used to. So I'm going to have to play around with it. A Sheer Venom set looks very, very interesting for this build, and I can't wait to play around with it more, but I just haven't figured out Stam Bow yet. Tank and Healer. I think the Nightblade came a long way in the Tank and Healer column. Specifically, I plan on making a Nightblade tank build with the Armor Master set, using a high elude chance, high mitigation, and maybe rocking 7 pieces of medium, kind of like a Dodge Shadow tank. So I still have to work a lot on that to get it finally done and polished. So no time soon is that coming, but it might be a really cool idea. Overall, I think the Nightblade is in a much better place for Magic, and I think Stamina is a little bit nerfed, specifically the dodge rolling change. I know you're not supposed to infinitely dodge roll, and I do agree with the change. 4 seconds is a bit harsh, but you can still do just fine on a Stamina Nightblade. Tanking, Magic DPS, I'm really, really enjoying. Third class we have up in alphabetical order is my least favorite class, and that's the Sorcerer. Now, don't get me wrong, Sorcs have had a lot of changes, some good and some bad. Let's talk about Magic first. If you don't know, Streak got nerfed significantly, though I can still streak 6 or 7 times and get away from enemies. I did delete my Magic Sorcerer, so I have not played it very much since the update launch. So, I don't know exactly how much magic damage you can do, but it seems pretty weak in comparison to other classes, though it may just be my build. I plan on testing this more and maybe even leveling another Magic Sorc in the future if they add character slots, but honestly, I'm not going to weigh in on Magic because I just don't have enough information or testing. Stamina Sorcerer. if you have not played it yet, is utterly amazing. Critical Surge is back. The more enemies around you, the more powerful you get. Stam Sorc has everything you want for Imperial City. Massive self-healing, huge AoE, good damage at range up close. You have speed, escapability, resource management. It is literally my favorite thing to play in Imperial City. I YOLO in with Steel Tornado, getting 5, 6, 7,000 self-heals at a time. I'm doing massive amount of damage. If you have not played a Stam Sorc yet, trust me, it is back in the most powerful class, in my opinion, for Imperial City. It is that big of a difference. Tank and healer, the Sorc have probably came a long way. They have nice mitigation, some good stamina morphs, but they're still lacking a stamina-specific ability to cast. They're pretty much entirely reliant on the other skill lines, weapon skill lines, to use for abilities. So some people don't like that. Me, don't have a problem with it. Overall, I think the Sorcs are really good. PvP, they seem to be walking gods, even though the shield stacking Sorcs of old may have taken a hit. But if you haven't played Stamina yet, trust me, it is utterly amazing to see me Rambo in, streak, negate, Steel Tornado, and take down 30 mobs at a time, raking in the Telvar stones. Try a Stamina Sorc. I should be finishing this build. I'm missing 2 pieces of gear, and Toxic Tornado will be out. The final class we have is Templar, which is my favorite. It's a walking juggernaut of self-healing, awesomeness, good damage, but it lacks mobility. And it still does, unless you're playing Stamina. Specifically, Magic Templars took a huge hit on the PTS with the Radiant Destruction morph. However, we got some testing done, gave some feedback to the developers, and it looks like they scaled it up a little bit, so it didn't take the monster nerf that it did on the PTS. So essentially, the class is still really fun. It's easy to play. You have really powerful self-healing. And the thing that I love about Imperial City now, it's not just solo YOLO, jump in there, do as much damage. You have to heal now. Playing a Templar healer is a lot more fun and engaging. Stamina Templars do way more damage. They have great AoE and some good sustain. But the problem is, in the hardest dungeons in the game, you really need an off healer. It's very valuable for your team, making Magic Templar my favorite so far to do the dungeons. Good damage, great sustained, it's fun, has range, up close and personal, exactly what you need. The old Stamina Templar Harvester had taken a hit with the heavy armor Ravager set. I'm going to need to replace it because I'm running into stamina sustained issues. So I'm working on running a 3-piece ring set, Molag Kina, and something else, 5-piece, maybe Sheer Venom or something else, to see if I can't make up for it and run all medium. I think it's very important. Stam Templar still might be one of the highest things in the game, especially one of the best AoE and extremely easy to play. Tank and healing, Templar is the healer. There's no doubt about it. And they are monster healers. It's just about the same. Purifying Light did get a nice bonus, so if you want to do a little damage and do some healing as well, that's something, but nothing has really changed in that regard. Tanking, they're still pretty good. The lack of chains is somewhat problematic, but we have nice Templar tanks in our guild that do just fine. Overall, Templar, I think, is the easiest class to get into and master right away. It's fun, but it's slow. If you don't like mobility and stealth and camo, I would not play a Templar in this update because you're going to be relying on using stamina and some other abilities. If you like easy, powerful, good self-healing, and versatility, which is exactly what I love, Templar is for you. With only the update around for a couple days, you can see my character screen. Got a lot of people to VR16, though I have a lot of work to do left over. This is my favorite character, Two Beams, a dark elf, magic and or stamina Templar. It has the best things that I like. Versatility, healing, good range, unique class abilities, and execute. It fits my personality. But to answer the question that I get all the time, what's the best class? There is none. Each has their own strength and weaknesses. Should I play stamina or should I play magic? It depends. Do you want more self-healing? Play magic. Do you want more speed? Play stamina. You can make a stamina Sorc very, very good. You can make a magic I don't know, Dragonknight work very, very good. It just depends. The nice thing about ESO is it has tons and tons of flexibility. So in essence, there is no best build, there is no best class. You have to design it to work for you. Oftentimes my builds, I'm swapping out abilities constantly. Let's say we have someone who's new to healing. I might throw something in there to help them. Let's say we have a really powerful tank that doesn't lose aggro. I might get a little more aggressive. The answer is, it just depends. So hopefully the message of this video is, play what you like, not what everyone else likes. You're going to enjoy it, you're going to excel at it, and you're going to do great. If you like a Magic DK in Update 7, you still will. Hopefully this gave you some insight into what has changed, what I think about it, and I can't wait to collect a little bit more gear and start rocking them builds.